Welcome back to Soda City Live. Whether you're filing taxes for yourself or your business, if you haven't done so already, it's time to get that necessary paperwork in order and get a move on it. Tax expert of Javis Tax Service, April Harris and Kristen Javis, are joining us today with our tax season wrap up. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
So when is the last day to file for individual taxes?
Last day for individual taxes is April 18th. It was the 15th, but the 15th is a Saturday, and then because of Emancipation Day in DC, they're recognizing it the 17th, so you've got Tuesday.
All right, awesome. And what about for businesses? When's the last day to file for business?
Well, the business tax deadline is actually over, so if you didn't file an extension, unless it's a Schedule C. Schedule Cs go along with your regular tax return, but S corporations and partnerships, that deadline was last month on the 15th. If you file an extension, then the next extension is good until September 15th.
Okay, sounds good. Now, if someone is filing individual taxes this year, what are some things that have changed in the past couple of years?
Oh, wow, a lot. We've gone back from the pre-COVID in the American Rescue Plan. A lot of those credits are long gone. So a lot of the dependent credit and all of those stuff are long gone. It's back to what it was prior to, which is 2000 and stuff like that.
Okay. Now I have a lot of questions that I'm gonna ask, and I know we have a short on time, but I want to be sure to get to it. Now, one thing when people file, they always want to know the way to get the most money back on their return. So what are some things that people should be looking for when filing their taxes just to ensure that they are getting the most amount that they can get back?
Yeah, so we actually created our welcome packet. It's called the Roadmap to Success, and it's both personal and business deductions that you can use. A lot of people, they didn't know that, car taxes, property taxes, when you own a business, Wi-Fi, home office expenses, things like that. So we have created just about 2 to 4 pages of deductions that you can include.
It's a lot.
And another thing I think is important is, it is tax season, but you can be preparing and getting ready for your taxes all year long. So maybe you've already filed your taxes, or maybe you've already filed your business taxes. What are some things that people can start doing now to make sure they're ahead of the game for next year?
I would say W-2, and to go back off of what Kristen said, I've seen a lot of it this year. Parents don't realize that the college-age students get 1098-Ts, and so they're leaving them off. That's a credit. You can get up to $1,500 for that credit, and a lot of parents don't know that even though the child is over 21, they can still file them on their tax return, especially if that child is still at home and not bringing in any income.
Ooh, that's good to know. Any other tips that you can think of to help with filing for the next year?
I would say make sure you got all your W-2s. I see a lot of people had several different jobs throughout the course of the year and not making sure they bring all of that documentation with them, then realizing they may have dabbled in the stock market a little bit and didn't bring that. I see a lot of people leaving off the Robinhood accounts and stuff of that nature. You just got to make sure you just gather up all your documents prior to filing that tax return.
State and federal forms that you can get off your transcript as well. So if you're doing prior years, you can order a transcript. You're like, I don't have access to that. We can order a transcript for you so we can have everything that they have to match it up for that year.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correct. So I know there's some people, if it's been a while, they've lost these W-Ts or these, I think, yes, the W-2 form. They've lost these forms, so there is a transcript in order to track those, is what you're saying. Oh, well, that's good to know, because I know some people out there that are like, listen, I lost it and I haven't filed. And speaking of which, there's some people that haven't filed as far back as 2020 and 2019, and there's some stimulus out there.
A lot of stimulus, $3,200 worth.
So when is the debt, is this like the last year for them to be able to claim that at all?
So they can go back and they can do a prior year tax return. There's no deadline. 3 years of prior year, you can get that prior year done and get that credit. And we still do electronic on those past years.
Now, what's the penalty if you file late or you don't file an extension?
So it's, I believe it's 5% up until cut off at $425, but if you're getting a refund back, then it's not going to be a penalty.
Okay.
But you have to file an extension. I know a lot of people don't realize, excuse me, you get an extension to file, not an extension to pay.
That's important to note. Well, we'll make sure we have all these details and more on our website, sodacitylive.com. Before we wrap up, I have one last question. For those who are not familiar with Javis Tax Service, where are you all located and what services do you provide?
Okay, so Javis Financial, we're going on our 25th year in business. We're located at 7171 Two Notch Road, and we're a woman-owned, black-owned, and proudly Southern business. And we are having our gala June 10th that we would love our clients to come out to for food, fellowship, and fun. So, taxes, payroll, bookkeeping, one-stop shop financial boutique. That's what we are.
I love it. And we want to thank you ladies for sharing these tax season wrap up, some things we can wrap up the season, but we'll have all these details, like I mentioned earlier, on our website, SodaCityLive.com. Stick with us. We have much more coming up after the break.